Hello. To finish up the unit now on elections, we'd like to take a look at the final section of Chapter 7 on the money and elections. We'll do a few in-class activities as well based on this unit. So we're going to look at some of the issues by such massive amounts of campaign fundraising and gifts to different campaigns. What are some of the issues? How is it attempted to regulate, and how do we as Christians view this type of influence through the gifts of money and spending on campaigns? As you can tell, the amounts have climbed dramatically, and if you fast forward to today, the amounts are even more staggering that are spent on elections. For example, the 2016 presidential election will be in the billions and billions of dollars by both parties to try to win that election, and so keep an eye on that. Even locally, here's from a local newspaper. The two congressmen from our area, Justin Amash and Bill Huizenga, are generously supported by wealthy individuals and also PACs, political action committees, and sometimes this raises issues as far as access to elected officials, and also could hint towards maybe improprieties, but not always. So if you were to run for office and needed to fund your campaign to make signs or t-shirts or even television ads, you would need quite a bit of money at a statewide or for sure a nationwide campaign such as president. The ideal thing is to have numerous small contributors, which shows that you have a broad base and grassroots support. However, it's also nice to have some wealthy donors, such as the Van Andels and DeVosses, as we saw in the article in the previous slide, that can give larger amounts and also hard and soft money. The candidate themselves, as you saw with the Reform Party, Ross Perot giving 30, 40, 50 million of his own money towards his campaign. Now, most of you aren't going to be able to do that, but that's another possibility. Political action committees are going to give money, again, to the campaign funds themselves, as well as to the soft money sources. You're going to do some fundraising, maybe some different sales or anything, breakfasts or things to raise money for your campaign. If you are a national campaign, you can also qualify for government subsidies, where taxpayer funds will be granted to your campaign based on how much you've already raised from private parties. So this is where you could get your funding. The thing is most of the funding is done through what they call soft money. It's important that you know the difference between hard and soft money. Hard money is money that goes directly into your campaign fund. That's run by your campaign committee. There'll be a treasurer, and there's many forms that you fill out to the FEC, the Federal Election Commission, who tracks these things. And at certain points, 3 or 4 times a year, you must submit a record of all funds that you took in to make sure that they're meeting the law, and all expenditures that go into your campaign. That's called hard money. On the other hand, soft money is money that could be not going directly into your campaign, but private individuals or entities could take out television ads on their own and fund it themselves, or other things to help your campaign indirectly. That's called soft money. Now, in the era of the internet and the mobile technology that we live, most people would say there should be more transparency. Now, that's a vocab word you should become familiar with, transparency. As the word would intimate, is to be able to see through and see what's going on inside something. It's transparent, you can see visibly. Well, That's the call for Secretary of State here in Michigan a few years back wants financial contributors reported and available online within 48 hours so that people can see who is funding the candidate. And that tells a lot about that candidate when you know who are the deep funders for this or that candidate. And also you can know whether it's being done honestly or reported accurately and so on. There has been attempts at regulation, but it has been very difficult to enforce. As you read in your book, the most recent of all these was the 2002 McCain-Feingold bill, which tried to reform campaign finance even more and put limits on spending by the hard money. The thing is, it's very difficult because of the loopholes in the soft money. So the Bipartisan Campaign Reform Act, known as McCain-Feingold, has not been too successful, as it mentions here, because of the continued flow of soft money and other organizations that spend independently, either to advocate a candidate or to help defeat someone they don't like, which again indirectly helps that candidate. The FEC that I mentioned earlier is where they are responsible to report campaign finance, to administer any kind of discipline on campaigns that do not disclose, and make sure that the limits are met on the contributions and on the expenditures. They also approve the provisions for the public funding. However, there are many loopholes, as you're familiar with, through the soft money and independent campaign spending on issue ads. If your candidate is in favor of another bridge across the Grand River to alleviate the congestion, and you took out an ad saying how that would be a waste of taxpayer money and prove that wrong, then that's called an issue ad. Did you mention the candidate's name? No. But you know, everyone in the area knows that candidate's stance. So when you take out an ad against that stance, then you're basically attacking that candidate. That's called an issue ad. Oftentimes you'll see that around election time where private organizations and fundraisers will take out their own issue ads to either help or harm a candidate's chances of winning.